Hello everyone. I'm really happy to see you all back on my channel. Today's story still begins with things that feel familiar. Simple daily rhythms, repetitive tasks. Nothing too different, nothing too remarkable. But sometimes, within those most ordinary things, there quietly lies a turning point. A change that no one could ever predict. That morning, everything unfolded just the way Hoai Ca had been used to for a long time. No rush, no disturbance. Just familiar footsteps, walking out to the garden, starting with the work she had done countless times before. Hoài Ca bend out, gently picking up each mustard seed. Tiny seeds scattered beneath the plants, some just perfectly ripe, some already beginning to dry. Just a moment too late, and they would fall to the ground and disappear. She worked very slowly, not because she was tired, but because she understood. Things that small, if not kept in time, would be lost, and once they are gone, there is no way to get them back. That kind of work doesn't feel grand, doesn't attract attention, but it is what sustains her every day. Little by little, gathered together into a life. After finishing, Hoài Ca stood up, lightly brushing the dirt off her hands. Her eyes glanced over the garden once more. Then she turned back, the familiar path, not long, but filled with many thoughts. On the way home, she didn't go straight back. Instead, she stopped by the pumpkin field. The vines stretched out lush and green, pumpkins lying beneath the leaves, some still small, some fully grown. Hoài Ca bend out, carefully choosing each one, not picking many, only the best ones, the ones that could be sold, the ones she believed could be exchanged for a little money. Not much, but enough to keep going. She placed them carefully, carried them along, and continued toward the market. At the market, everything moved quickly. Short exchanges, simple questions. No one stayed long. No one talked too much. Everyone had their own things to do. Hoai Ca was the same. She didn't try to call out to customers, didn't need to say much, just sat there quietly. Whoever needed it would buy. Whoever found it suitable would stop. The money she received wasn't large, didn't change her life instantly, but it was all her effort, her time, her patience, gathered together. Not loud, not showy, just a very real life, very clear, and very familiar. By noon, when everything was done, Hoai Ca returned home. Not in a hurry, not overly tired, just a steady rhythm. Like every day, among the pumpkins she had brought, she kept one, the best one, not to sell, but for the meal. A small choice, but one that carried clear care. She stepped into the kitchen. Everything began as usual, preparing ingredients, washing, arranging. No need to think too much, because it had all become familiar. Hoài Ca quy Ly cook, a pumpkin chicken stew, a dish not too complicated, not requiring expensive ingredients, but bringing warmth. A meal, at first glance, just ordinary, nothing special, nothing outstanding. But sometimes, moments like these are the starting point of something no longer ordinary. The door opened. Hùng returned. He stepped inside, sat down. Everything seemed like any other day, but if you looked closely, you would notice something different. His eye no longer carried that familiar exhaustion, no longer that quiet stillness after a long day, but a sense of focus, something being thought through, carefully, clearly. After a few simple exchanges, nothing unusual, nothing that immediately changed the atmosphere. But then, Hùng began to speak, slowly, unhurried, as if he had been thinking about this for a very long time. Not a sudden idea, but something that had taken shape, been considered, and now he decided to say it. A new plan, a different direction, no longer just the current work, No longer the things repeating every day, but something bigger. Further, he talked about opening an artificial football field down in the district, a place with more people, more opportunities, choice, different from their current life, that he believed, done right, if it succeeded, could change, not just their work, not just their income, but their entire life. First, Hoai Ca remained silent. She didn't interrupt, didn't cut him off, nor did she rush to express her thoughts. She let Hùng finish speaking, let every word, every idea be fully said. But the more she listened, the slower her breathing became. Her eyes could no longer hold the calm from before. They gradually sank, deeper and heavier. What Hùng was saying was not unfamiliar, not something she had never heard before, but precisely because she had known, had witnessed it, she understood even more clearly. Those things were not simple. 1 billion dong was not a small number, not something that could be spoken of lightly. Borrowing, investing, paperwork, procedures, and all the risks behind them, all of those were not vague ideas, but very real things, very close, and also very frightening. They were things that before they had avoided, had worried about, had not dared to touch. Now, it was being placed right there, clearly. At this very meal, Hoai Ca said nothing more. She gently put down her chopsticks, a very small action, but enough to make the atmosphere pause. Her voice rose, not loud, not harsh, but clear and firm. I don't agree. 3 words, short, but as if everything stopped. The air suddenly fell silent. No more sounds of the meal, no more natural ease as before. Only a silence remained, very clear. Hùng looked at her, a trace of surprise in his eyes, not because he hadn't thought she might disagree, but because he didn't expect her to say it so quickly, so clearly. Why? His voice wasn't loud, but had already begun to change. Hoai Ca didn't answer immediately. She didn't look at him right away. Instead, her gaze shifted outside, toward the yard in front of the house, the place where they had spent so much time, day by day, little by little, building each row of vegetables, each patch of garden, each small thing, but everything they had. Her eyes lingered there, as if looking back at everything that had passed. Here is the countryside. She spoke slowly, unhurried, as if weighing each word. People don't need a football field as much as you think. And we, she paused for a moment, then continued, don't have enough to take that kind of risk. She turned back. This time, her eyes no longer avoided, no longer held anything back, but faced him directly, clearly. I want to do agriculture. Her voice remained the same, not loud, but steady. Build a farm, raise livestock, grow crops, like what we're already doing. Each sentence, each thought, spoken out, not in impulse, but from something long considered. Slow, she said, but certain. Choice, not fast, not groundbreaking, but safe and sustainable. Hùng didn't speak right away. He fell silent. A few seconds passed, but in that short time, the atmosphere grew heavier, as if something was being pulled tight. Then his voice came, no longer as gentle as before, but now carrying weight. Slow, he repeated. Then when will we ever get better? A question, not needing an immediate answer, but filled with emotion. How many years? We've been like this. Not exactly blame, but no longer agreement. It was a frustration that had built up for a long time. Don't you want to change? That sentence turned the air into something no longer a normal conversation, but 2 thoughts, 2 directions, clearly opposed. Hoai Ca tightened her hand slightly. a very small reaction, but enough to show she was no longer as calm as before. "Change," she said, her voice not loud, but slightly trembling, "doesn't mean gambling everything." She looked straight at Hung, not avoiding. "You're borrowing money. You're already in debt." Each sentence became clearer. "And now, you want to borrow even more." The atmosphere grew heavier, as if no space remained between them. Her voice trembled slightly, but she didn't step back, didn't take her words back. What if it fails? A question, not to argue, but a real fear, something she couldn't ignore. Hung stood up. Suddenly, the chair behind him shifted, a small sound, but enough to tighten everything further. His eye no longer held the earlier calm, no longer that careful consideration. Instead, there was determination. "If we don't try," he said. Here. Sentence. Not long, but enough to cut through everything. All thoughts, all arguments, all the calm from before. Suddenly, everything was pushed to a point where neither of them could remain the same anymore. The small house was still that familiar space, still the same walls that had witnessed countless days of them living together, striving together. But in that moment, everything seemed to lose the warmth it once had. The silence spread quickly, not a gentle silence, but a heavy pause, where both of them stopped. No one spoke further. No one continued explaining, and neither of them stepped back. There was no compromise, no nod of agreement, no words to soften the situation. Just two thoughts, two directions, standing on completely opposite sides. One side was the safe choice, the familiar path, a road that was slow, but clear, visible, manageable, with little uncertainty, with fewer risks. The other side was ambition, the desire to break free from old limits, an opportunity, though uncertain, yet filled with hope for change, faster, greater, and also riskier. Those two choices had no clear right or wrong, but they could not go together. At the same time, on the same path, the meal was still set out as usual. The dishes were still there. Nothing missing, nothing different. The pumpkin chicken stew, still warm, steam rising gently, carrying a soft fragrance. The sweetness of pumpkin, the richness of chicken, everything remained intact, just as Hoai Ca had prepared, carefully, thoughtfully, with all her care. But now, no one truly paid attention to it. No one had the state of mind to fully taste the meal. Not because the food had changed, but because their emotions were no longer the same. They still sat there, at the same table, so close to each other, close enough to reach out and touch. Yet there was an invisible distance, pulling them apart, further and further than ever before. It was not a distance of space, but a distance of thoughts, of choices, of things that could not be reconciled. No one looked at the other for long. No one spoke first. Each held inside what they believed was right, what they refused to let go. Outside, the light slowly changed. The afternoon passed gently. The last rays of sunlight, no longer bright, but softened, then gradually faded. The sky shifted, from light to dark, from clear to dim. The outside world grew quiet. Everything settled down. But inside the house, that quietness held an entirely different meaning. Not peace, but restraint, of unresolved thoughts, of emotions left unspoken. A decision was slowly taking shape, not in words, but in each of their minds, silently, gradually, but clearly. And what mattered most was that no one knew where that decision would lead them. Would Hung continue chasing his dream, a dream of a new path, a different direction, even while facing risks he clearly understood. Or would Hoai stand firm in her choice? A slower road, but a safer one. A way of life she believed would not force them to lose too much. And if neither of them gave in, neither accepted to change their view, then what would happen to them? Would that invisible distance be only temporary, or would it become a crack, growing wider, between the two of them? Stay tuned for the next episode to find out where the story will go next.
Chào mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Thì mình tiếp tục đưa đến video về câu chuyện của Hoài Ca và Hùng. Trước giờ mọi người theo video thì mọi người đã biết là Hoài Ca là một người rất là hòa thuận và không mấy khi bị mâu thuẫn. Mà trong tập hôm nay thì cả hai đã xảy ra một cái mâu thuẫn không ai muốn. Đó là về Hùng đã thay đổi quyết định đột ngột. Trước kia thì cái miếng đất mà cả hai mua, Hùng mua đó thì muốn là để xây một cái nông trại nho nhỏ, là một cái trang trại nho nhỏ để cả hai có thể chăn nuôi. Tuy nhiên thì Hùng đã thay đổi, là anh quyết định làm một sân bóng. Đây là một việc khá là mạo hiểm, và cũng chính vì việc này mà Hùng và Hoài Ca đã có một cuộc cãi vã với nhau. Vậy thì liệu Hùng sẽ quyết định ra sao, ý kiến của hai có thể thống nhất và sẽ làm gì hay không? Hãy cùng đón xem ở tập sau để biết thêm chi tiết nhé. Tạm biệt mọi người.